Now, Hong Kong people are to run Hong Kong. That is the promise, and that is the unshakable destiny.
That was the promise, not anymore. Now Beijing people will run Hong Kong.
What it means is the end of one country, two systems, as far as China's concerned. What it means is China breaking its word once again, breaking an international treaty.
The protests look and sound much the same as they always have. But from today, everything is different. More than 300 people were arrested today, 9 of them for suspected violations of the new security law.
I am angry at the breach of the basic law. I'm angry at the breach of one country, two systems. And I'm angry at the disrespect for human rights that this national security legislation brings.
Police warned protesters to disperse or face the use of force. Crimes of secession, subversion, terrorism and collusion with foreign forces are punishable now by up to life in prison. The stakes for these protesters, most of them so young, have just got so much higher.
It's quite draconian. It's covered basically every action on earth that may be political. It covers speech crime. It covers peaceful action. It covers like criticisms of the government and punishable by life sentence. It's not really a law in the real sense of the term, but a tool to suppress dissent. And people understand that and trying to protect themselves in some way.
The details of the law were only made public at the moment it came into force. The law has had a chilling effect already. Many well-known activists have shut down their organisations, fearing that simple membership could be enough to get them prosecuted. And others have started deleting their social media accounts and messaging apps. When we got through to a pro-democracy Hong Kong legislator, he chose his words carefully.
To call for a sanction on Hong Kong government or Chinese government will be a very serious offence, starting with 10 years imprisonment minimum, up to life imprisonment.
So I was going to ask you, what do you want the UK, the United States, to do in response to this? But maybe you can't answer that.
I should not ask it expressly that the UK government impose a sanction on the Chinese government on that. I will go to jail.
The protests began a year ago against a bill that would have allowed some suspects to be extradited to the mainland for trial. What started peacefully became increasingly confrontational.
This is not a protest anymore. This is turning into urban warfare.
Beijing now claims this new law is needed to restore order to Hong Kong.
If we're going to stop China behaving in this international loutish way, then we have to work with others. We have to work with allies. We have to work with other liberal democracies. We have to work with other countries in the region to stand up for China. Otherwise, it will continue to bully and bluster and knock people about.
They've barely had time to digest the implications of the new law. The threat of arrest and lengthy prison sentences will no doubt deter some, but not all.
I think there's quite a lot of fear in some part, and for some others, I think there's more determination to fight on.
And what about you?
I think I will still stay on. Yeah, so as I've been on the street today, if this is the fate that Hong Kong people have to face, and let's so be it. And we will fight together with all the activists inside China, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, and elsewhere, to fight for democracy and against the Communist Party rule.
There are some brave and determined people out there, but it's difficult not to conclude that July the 1st, 2020 was the day that Hong Kong ceased to exist as an island of freedoms within China.